I'm living it. Live in La Streamin' Loca. Okay, that was all terrible. Um, how's it going, guys? I've been sitting with some of my thoughts in meditation. There was a lot of midday traffic that I didn't factor into my errands I had to run. So I'm probably not going to do what I hoped was going to be a little mid-afternoon stream of something, possibly whatever I was going to choose to do next in the Box Saga. So stay on the lookout for that. I'll probably do it either later tonight if I'm not too tired after I've done my evening plans, or tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon sometime. And then be on the lookout. I'm going to also, I should be on Sunday to short readings. So those are going to be only about an hour. So, you've got to get in the queue, and hopefully there'll be time, because I think we're looking at because I think that I know. Sorry, something popped. I will get back to my buddy. I'll get back to my buddy in a minute. Because of course I had to impulse the live stream, and instead of imagining that our conversation was going to continue after 2 minutes of but anyway, so the Year of the Dragon is not over yet. We still got a couple of weeks, because the Chinese New Year is next month. So that's when that counts. So we're still in dragon territory for a hot minute, meaning that this beast can breathe some more fire. And I'm a little inspired to speak a tiny bit about dragon stuff, because I was just listening to Arwayne Steiger live, and he was talking about dragon spirits, effectively dragon spirit guides, guardian dragons, and things like that. And people having very intense interdimensional experiences with some of these bad boys, and that's beautiful stuff, because I've had dreams. I don't want to talk about this stuff now, just because maybe because it's been a long time that that maybe I shoot Wayne an email, and I'm being like, hey dude, if you want to do that dragon talk, you got, hit me up. You haven't had me on in forever. If you want to have me on again, my man, right? Because as far as I know, there's still all sorts of mutual love, just like we haven't talked in forever. And I had to go climb a particular mountain of consciousness, while Wayne has been climbing a different mountain of consciousness. And so I had to stick and focus, and so I wasn't tuned in to Steiger's stuff for a while, right? So anyway, I don't want to spoil any potential good conversation I could have about that stuff, other than anything I would want to say independently anyway here on my channel, which I'm going to do right now. Right? A long time ago, back when I decided to stop hating myself and start taking care of my body the way I had strived to take care of my soul and of my mind. Realizing that my soul and my mind were being held back, of all things, because of aspects of body neglect. I've been slowly trying for years, just trying to be organic, or at the very least, non-GMO, so on and so forth, and try to reduce the fucking poisons. While meanwhile having very little control over appetite, by and large, or anything that was going to make a difference in my physical ability. I'm just talking about ability. Appearance is kind of a bonus, but which is a big bonus, because other people don't experience the power you gain from your workouts. They experience how you look, right? Unless your power comes into play because you work for them and they need you to open the pickle jar, and then Grandma's just like, "Oh, you're so strong." That's my dragon, Grandma. No, but seriously, the dragon, the dragon guides are there to awaken your avatar, right? The dragon is the foe of the hero of the world, because the dragon represents the strongest force in the world, or in the known world, because the world is a state of mind. It's not the planet, it's not the realm, right? It's not Earth. All those things are real, but we're specifically talking about the world, which has a specific meaning. And then that world either has a resonant frequency with higher and lower dimensions, or it doesn't. And there are Draco Liches out there. These are the dead dragons, right? These are the dragons of the anti-life. This is the dragons that come from the black magic, from the Sumerian Draconian, right? This is part and parcel of what you see being demonstrated in the presence of Count Orlok and Nosferatu, right? Nosferatu is an example of a Draco Lich, right? He shows up, you show up at the Count's fucking thing, and he's just breathing heavy, and he's fucking taller than you, and he's got this cloak, which implies fucking the bat wings, which, serves the purpose of covering his grotesque form even in fitting clothing. You don't see his fucking legs till the end of the fucking movie. What? Wait, no, you do see his legs. I think one. See, I'm commenting from seeing it once in the theater, paying deep attention, but yet still I'm just sitting in the theater and my mind is running through this and that, and then I'm just like, wait, did I hear that line correctly? Did I look away at the wrong moment during that jump scene? Right? And so you miss, you're sitting there just like, I don't know what kind of detail I missed, but that's life. I mean, shit, I comment on books I've read once. I comment on movies I saw once 15 years ago, right? And then you watch it again and you find something you missed before. And that's if the movie really, really was about finding something you missed before, like in The Shining. And that's because films like The Shining were deliberately made overtly complicated, especially because the set is changing. And why is it fucking changing? Because it's the labyrinth. The mansion is the labyrinth. As the spirit of the Minotaur is taking over the father, And the spirit of the Minotaur is the egregore being psychically driven by the agents gaslighting you with stories of haunted houses. Right? There's The Shining. There's another aspect of The Shining de-occulted. Call Ryder, Lee. Call Ryder! I'll call Ryder. I know Ryder. I can get a hold of Ryder. Anyway. Right? So, this manner of having the strength and the confidence to do or say what you're going to do or say boldly, like you've got the fucking right, the birthright to say it, when you know it's something that somebody may want to contend and tell you, no, do not evoke those ideas into your world, because I gotta live in this world with you. Right? And she's gotta, because we're co-workers and we're not even friends. Right? And so we keep certain things quiet, right? We keep our worlds apart. It's when those worlds collide, right? The psychic driving of the American experience and many other people's experiences around the West and the world expanded a certain niche of someone's taboo world, and not only brought it out in the forefront with very little conscious awareness or time to look at it, and then absolutely forced a culture flip unnaturally, right? I mean, we're still dealing with that. There's still shit that ought not to have been fucking silenced that was silenced. That's the power of the Dark Dragon, the Necromancer, sitting there and taking away your will to your world. They force the change on your world. And I'll put it to you this way. The things that I have held since that dragon struck everyone were the places that, I took that stand. And I said, I don't care how much bigger you are, either in reality or imagined. This is more important to me than your will. And within the desire to defend that and to even fight for it, to say, no, I'm going to hold space for it. I'm not only going to hold my ground in my world, but now that you have crossed a certain threshold, I now have a proper right to retaliate. Now that you've done your damage and proven that you are not in the correct for what you claimed was a good reason to do such damage. And the dragon breath comes from when you find the words. Because the reason why nobody fights the dragon is because he can whip you with his tail, and you can damage the tail, but that's not going to do much to the dragon as a whole. You ain't going to fucking bleed out. And it's probably going to grow back. Like if my iguana lost his tail, it'll grow fucking back. And then he's going to breathe fire. And then he can also fucking fly. Right? And all of these represent things. In fact, they all kind of represent elemental masteries in many respects. And so you find the power of your evocation. One thing you cannot be robbed of unwillingly is yourself. You always have internal assets. It's just knowing the connection between what you know you can do in your mind with the assets and how you can make those assets happen to do it. And having the cleverness to be able to do an incredible amount with a very little, that's a kind of magic. These are all the little things where you keep yourself from being in a position where you can't have your abilities and your faculties. With all of your abilities, all of your faculties, the oomph of that purpose and the power of your world behind you and your ability to grow, these are the things in which you need a dragon. To do these things properly is to be worthy of the dragon. To seek it out and be at peace with knowing that you can be just as much of a monster as the dragon that you fear, or the dragon that ought not be. But that doesn't mean that you are going to be something to be feared or ought not be. But when you become the bold one, when you hold the posture, when you start actually speaking from knowing, from declaring, from, making your position of where you stand, where you will advance, your ability to fearlessly be no bullshit about doing the next thing that's gotta be done, you go drenga, we call it in the Old Norse, to man up and do the hard deed. It's basically what it means. Hey, I see you guys in the chat, barely, with the sun. I'm focused, I can't respond, but I see you and I appreciate you. I think that's Zephyr there. Thank you, Zephyr. I see Saniko, and I saw some people that are not mods that seemed like they were okay. Hi. So you spit fire. This is the power of your fucking words. The power of your words need to come across in a way where they are attacking the spirits driving your opponent. That's what the power of your Galder is for. That is the power of your evocation of power spoken forth. This is what wins the war without casting an arrow, right? This is that manner in which you have a certain amount of strength from position and you've considered everything you need to do for the best outcome. And hopefully that is an outcome that doesn't involve somebody that needs to fucking get hurt. Right? Because the dragon doesn't see itself as terrible. If it happens to be terrible. Dragons are, they're something different than gods. you know, they're kind of like the Jotun because Ymir is basically the primordial dragon. It's like Norse creation myth is largely operating off of Ice Age allegory, so there's a lot of prehistory that is put out of order, where the cosmological creation that gets you to the way the Midgard is in higher realms is also explaining certain things that were literal amongst our forefathers in the Paradise time, right? Because the Ice Age is the Fimbulvitr, and, you know, thus the Fimbulvitr is what is broken when Muspelheim reconstitutes itself in its last attempt to destroy Niflheim, but the Fimbulvitr keeps Muspelheim from consuming all of creation by preserving it in the ice, because that fire gets out of control. And Surt is, you could say Surt is a fucking dragon. There's no, like I'm saying, man, like, there's the humanization thing, right? It's the humanization, and like, and at this point, it's the animalization. It's just like, this is why we have mythological creatures, because we get fucking, like, whiny little fucking children that don't want to see animals get fucking hurt. And so we can't have fucking gods being animals now either, right? We can't tell any stories, you know, we can't tell children about the Great Hunt because Odin's the bad man who kills the animal. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. And then it becomes fine as history, but oh no, that's not us. You know? And then you'll be so insistent that it's not us that you turn into a vegan, right? Deny the idea, the principle, you know, the fact of reality that you're probably going to be in a position to need animal protein to be at optimal health and physical ability. All right? Because to go through the process of taking a plant protein diet and making it, like, completely palatable and having the same filling and energizing feel, like, I'm just saying, man, like, I've had plenty of plant protein. It's just like me dogging a fucking, like, can of fucking pistachios for plant protein is not cutting it like a goddamn fucking chicken wing. And I know that the stomach can be trained and all that, right? It's just, it's like, it's whatever. You know, in the Paradise time, the environment was acclimatable, whatever, you know. The climate was as such where it was very easy to not need to eat meat. Just like a lot of people that live in tropical whatevers do. That's because there's so much exotic fucking food that has plant protein in it that you're fucking fine. Because there's literally like that much of it. Goddamn fucking rainforest conditions. And then it becomes the sin of living in the north where it's practical to eat meat more so than other places. I think we make entirely too much of it because we're all going to die, and all of us have past lives, meaning that, you know, all of us are going to be here anyway, and we're going to have grown up eating meat. We're going to have grown up based one day where somebody brought veganism across your consciousness, right? You know, because there was always cults of veganism, orders of veganism from, you know, different religions and disciplines practiced it, you know, so on and so forth. It wasn't just some scientifically based moral movement. It used to be associated with different things and using spiritual explanations for what the scientismos think that they're doing. Right? And then the problem is, of course, is that most vegans are thinking that they didn't have to make certain sacrifices, right? Vegans are having a hard time at the gym. I don't see vegans. I don't see I mean, I'm sure the women at the gym. Like, I'm just looking at guys, and I'm just like, I'm hard pressed to look at somebody who's big and say you might have veganed yourself there. Not that I'm getting the impression that there's any vegans in the gym. And I already know a handful of vegans that they won't go to the gym, right? So isn't it, because it's like veganism isn't just a diet. It completely changes your social order, right? Because that's a world, right? And we've seen, a certain dragon that it's not just a vegan dragon. It's a dragon of many a thing. Right? And that dragon, it's the one that sits there and forces your fucking organic section to suck. Right? That's trying to justify what it needs to justify. Right? So this world force is deeply flawed. Right? And you try to consciously link up to the dragon of veganism. This beast that defends that principle of the vegan world. And ask the dragon how it keeps up on its vegetarian diet as a dragon. Right? How that corresponds to the as within, as without in this world. Right? And ask yourself, are you gonna go with what it says just because it's a dragon? Because I guarantee you, if you stand against that dragon, you start arguing with it, it'll get uppity like the others. And it may not be as strong as a dragon that's grounded in powers of more authentic and enthralled principles, but it's still bigger than you. And so the dragon teaches you how to stand up for yourself. The dragon is the reason you don't need a savior. He teaches you how to be your avatar. Which I think I said already, but I'm just repeating it again because it's a hero of the world situation. The dragon exists to be defeated by the hero. And then the hero takes on the dragon's qualities while still being the hero. Unless the dragon manipulated him. Then he destroys the dragon to take power and carry on its work because it was lured was persuaded by what it stood for. Seduced by it. Right? This is the dragon sickness that is alluded to in Tolkien, which is based on the forced presence of Golveg. And I am sorry, Golveg is not some evil aspect of Frey. I don't know where the fuck people get these ideas, right? There are 3 ogresses. These are 3 Jotun witches that came from the east or some shit like that, right? We have Haith. A cognate to Hecate in the Greek. She'd be in the same kind of field. But I don't want to say that for sure, right? But we are talking about an anti-god, right? So, you know, like, I'm starting to learn more and more as years go by the manner in confusion that comes from people that... You've got to be fucking shitting me. I hope you guys are... What, 3 of you still here? My phone rebooted altogether. Like, no reason. Nothing. Touched nothing. Didn't gesture with my fingers in any way. It just fucking shut off and on. Like hard, cold. I'm not even 100% sure where it left off during the time I was looking. I don't know why it did that. Maybe, did it overheat? It is a little hot in here. I don't know. Maybe it overheated. Alright. Hang on a second. Shoot. Man, what was I saying? Okay, I'm going to go back. I was repeating my point about the hero of the world. I was saying that right around the time I got off the exit. So I think I'm probably repeating myself too much. Hang on here. Hi, guys. Ugh. Still hear you? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. It is weird. Yeah. Parsons is here. Hey. Yeah, hair started falling out. Like, it's something I've noticed. It's something I've noticed with various vegans, right? Hair. I mean, like, hair falls out when you get older. I mean, it all depends how you're making those correlations, right? And I'm not gonna say that veganism makes your hair fall out, right? Look, Mark Passio. Mark Passio does very well for himself. He looks stronger than me, right? And, but he's, I think, been kicking his own ass a little bit longer than I have, and is much higher up on the threat level to the Illuminati people. He's another dragon, right? These are the things that just naturally come with all of that boldness, with all of that command of language, right? Because if you do not have control of your tongue, and if you do not have much power in your tongue, then either you're going to burn everything down uselessly because you can only start little fires all the time instead of one big burn on one target effectively, right? And or you're going to be nothing but the physical monster, and it'll be your physical presence doing everything, your ability to intimidate, your ability to use force, right? And your craving to use your power. Like, because don't activate your dragon unless you've built your character up first. Because, you know, are you the villain of the world or the hero of the world? Because there's two kinds of dragons. And not every conflict is between a villain and a good guy. And sometimes the conflict is between two villains, which fools you to root for one, whether they care that you're rooting for them or not. All right, that's it for me. I'll catch you